Well, hello again to all of you fun and very fine people once again. My name is, as always, Sam, and I'd like to welcome you once again to another episode of my weekly series of Weird Mind Newsroom, where for another week we'll be delving into all the new releases, trailers, and news for this week, which may be a bit of a hefty amount this week for a certain convention that had occurred over the last few days. But let's delve into the focus of moving on from the intros and talking all things media that we do have for this week.
Pocket sand!
On the first of the new releases for the week is one that initially had a bit of a journey to get here, that was born from a live-action remake and leaving from creative differences, a journey of dedication and hope to release onto a big screen before the studio decided to work more for streaming, and then someone in the studio leaked it to someone by email. But after all that, it's finally time to return to the world of the elements and strange and strong powers, as after years since they saved the world, we have the release of the all-new sequel film of the popular anime series with Avatar Aang, The Last Airbender. Now set 13 years after the defeat of Fire Lord Ozai at the end of the 100-Year War, Aang will discover another surviving airbender named Taig, who learns about a powerful staff that can restore his culture. With the help of Katara, Sokka, Zuko, and Toph, they embark on a global quest to find the relic before a group known as the Denied can claim it and upend the peace that they fought to achieve. The reception on this new follow-up from the handful of critics seems to be very well received, with praise in the follow-up story, character development, action, and being a well-respected follow-up to the original cast of characters, even if some feel they could have been benefited more from releasing in cinemas. But if you want to see the continuing journey of this series, and you can catch the full film out now on Paramount+. On to TV now, and the first this week we'll be heading back over to the States and to the location where the focus of suburban life will bring the ideals that you may have been working for many years will now be the case of finding something to do with the focus of the big scary new reality of retirement. As this will be the focus of the return to the popular series revival, as we have the release of the second season of the King of the Hill revival. Now the new season will see Hank and Peggy settle into retirement life on Rainy Street while they attempt to keep their neighbors from going off the rails. Meanwhile, Bobby tries to manage old friendships while dealing with the stresses of being an entrepreneur. Now reception of this new season, similar to the first in the revival, has also been very well received, with praise in the continued development of the characters, humor, and narratives in focus, as well as their take on some more modern elements. And if you want to check it out for yourself, you can catch the full new season and previous seasons now on Disney+. And as for the other TV show for this week, is one that I still question in the case of all the TV shows and series that this creator has done over the years, that this is the show that he has spawned so many follow-ups, spin-offs, and prequels, and it seems they're doing it once more with an overly elaborate, multiversal, chaotic adventure, and the lead of a hero all comes down to a simple comic book store owner. As we're returning to the world of Big Bang Theory, as we release of the newest series from the franchise, with Stuart fails to save the universe. The series will see comic book shop owner Stuart Bloom causing the end of the universe after a mishap with a device created by Sheldon and Leonard, and is soon tasked with restoring reality along with his girlfriend Denise, geologist Bert, and quantum physicist Barry Kripke. Now reception on this new series so far seems to be decently received, with praise on the premise and choice of characters, though some critiques seem to question if the franchise of Big Bang Theory really needed to expand this far in projects overall, unlike Young Sheldon and the First Marriage episode series as well. But if you want to see what comes about this series, and you can catch the first full episode now on HBO Max, with a new episode releasing every Thursday. The last of new releases for this week will be the focus of some video game action, and it'll all be returning to the newest IP from the largest gaming company in the world that has not caused major problems currently. But besides all that, we will return to a land full of all-out battles, hybrid creatures, and a whole lot of ink, as we're returning to those distinct aisles with the release of the newest entry of this popular IP with Splatoon Raiders. This new game will center around a mysterious mechanic who goes adventuring with deep-cut research crew to the mysterious Spherifalite Islands and learn of the secrets and more along the way. Reception of this new title is in the franchise seems to be very well received, with praise in the visuals, narrative, and gameplay elements, though some of the multiplayer elements that are well established in this IP seems a little missing maybe in some cases. People hope for more, but I'm sure they'll probably use the fourth entry of the all-out multiplayer series well on the way in this particular instance. But if you want to play this for yourself, you can play this new game now on Nintendo Switch 2. With all that regards now, that's all the new releases we have for this week.
You dare challenge Doom?
So we have a lot of trailers this week, and the first of them is a big one that many of us have been wondering and waiting for it to drop some form of footage for the big titles still to come from the holiday season. As the countdown and timer continued on, and point in time it stopped to provide a look and a warning of what is to come. As after months since those small minute teasers, we finally received a full trailer for the newest entry of this franchise with Avengers Doomsday. It was at 14 months after the events of Thunderbolt, multiple groups of heroes from different universes, with Avengers, Wakandans, and new Avengers from 616, Fantastic Four from 838, and the original Avengers from a separate universe, converge to face the existential threat of Doctor Doom. So there's been a lot of speculation and wondering when we were going to get a proper new look at this after the separate focus of different groups in the 4 teasers back around Christmas, but I'm more excited now to see them all team up again together, and while I hope for a little more to see, it does give a fair bit of potential, and this one is more appealing to me, a bit more over Doom, though I'll I'll probably still watch both of them. And we finally got our proper first look, at least, at Doom himself, and the costume looks pretty great. It looks pretty spot on. Also, as a case, I don't know if it's just me, but there's a certain returning and debated returning member of this Avengers that has a distinct look to them, but I just can't seem to put my finger on it. But I'm looking forward to checking this out as the countdown clock continues on until the release in the cinemas from the 18th of December. The first half of the week is jumped back and forth with action to our heroes to horror, and we are on the focus of the latter for this next one. As with the case, we are getting a little bit of a child that has some form of imaginary friend in some capacity that can take a distinct look to them, and if not given control or to be rid of them, they will become a bit too powerful and cause a lot of dark secrets to the home to become a lot more sinister. As we have the release of the trailer for the new horror film known as Other Mommy. Now, based on a novel of incidents around the house, and maybe the famous 2 Cents horror story, it will focus on the presence of a paranormal entity of Other Mommy that takes on the appearance of a young girl's mother that soon threatens her family and taunts her home with the only request is wanting to be and live in her heart. So I had heard about this film from the CinemaCon event a couple of weeks ago, as the case with the Doomsday trailer was from there as well, and it sounded to me from the outcome that was giving me some vibes of that 2 Cents horror story which went by. One night as I was in my room, my mother called me from the kitchen down the hall. As I walked down the hall, I pulled to the closet and a hand clasped over my mouth and silenced me. Shh, I heard it too, my mother whispered to me in my ear. In this case, it still gives me that vibe. I may need to read the book because I've heard it's quite a tragic book and it's told from the girl's perspective. But just from this small glimpse unsettled me, and have heard a lot of strong praise about this already, but I guess we'll see about this when the film releases in the cinemas from the 9th of October this year. The next trailer will be combining the elements of superhero-based narratives and the concept of horror, as it will be in the focus to stories from the comics, and while this will not be in the focus of the usual superheroes, this will be a case of something that will be seen from someone that had it all and was going to be a star before one bad day caused that to all fall apart, and will soon see him take form that will see him be molded into this perfect creation, and for a possible performance of a lifetime. As we have received the release of the second full-length trailer for the upcoming new superhero horror movie of Clayface. In the film will follow Matt Hagen, played by Tom Ray's Harry's, an up-and-coming actor whose face is disfigured by a gangster. As a form of a last resort, he returns to his scientist of Dr. Caitlin Bates, played by Naomi Ackie, who transforms his body into clay with some sense of unforeseen circumstances. So I mentioned this is the first of the full trailers. The previous one was a very brief minute-long trailer that focused on brief glimpses of what's to come, and in this it seems to have been expanded upon the narrative of visual. Some of the images seems very grotesque and stomach-turning, but done in an interesting way that it feels like a form of a superhero version of the substance. I am liking what I'm seeing, and we'll have to see if this graphic body horror will be something I can stomach as stuff. They just may have me collapse on the cinema screen floor, and I hope for this will get more stories to over many elaborate overlooked characters of Batman's Rogues Gallery to get a better deep interpersonal character study, and not just the usual Ray the Clown Prince of Crime. We've already got 2 of those, and the second one is not that very popular with people. Or the Man Two Faces, the one that does the brain teasers. But I'm looking forward to checking this out as it's molded into a masterpiece by releasing the cinemas from the 23rd of October. Our next trailer is the realm of some horror once more, but in the case we'll be heading over to the one bit of focus of these trailers this week, and that is the concept of the video game adaptation. Though not the only video game related trailer of this week. And it will be a case that the world may be familiar, the horrors will be waiting, but the person in focus may be unfamiliar to those, but will find themselves in a truly nightmarish night of their lives in the location they need to deliver the job to, as we release of the second full-length trailer for Zack Krieger's take on the popular horror series of Resident Evil. In the film will follow Brian, played by Austin Abrams, a medical courier who finds himself in a desperate fight for survival against bloodthirsty mutated creatures and looking to get himself out of this familiar city from the effects of a secret government-based virus. Now, it seems there is some clear up on what many people thought would be the initial approach, as it was reported it was supposed to take place during the events of RE2, but I think for some bits have been cleared up to be taking place in the modern day and brought to attention to Comic-Con this week. But besides that, I'm still one that is very excited for this take on the franchise, as after he proved himself with Weapons and Barbarian, I'll give them hope with this take on the popular series that has been built on its own thing and not trying to retell the game's stories, and the approach with the retelling that's feeling like RE7 here. The lead character feeling like people can relate to in their skills with these survival horrors and how they're not always going to be a professional. It'll still be interesting to watch, especially in apparently a breezy 90 minutes for this movie. It might be longer, but we have no idea. But I'm sure we'll see all about this when the film is unleashed into cinemas from September 18th. Our next trailer will be another film in focus like the big film releases of the week, where it has had a bit of a rough journey getting here. But after nearly being lost to time to a hero who came to save the day, now the elements of it is perfectly used in the marketing of a title that the corporation of an antagonist have to send his cartoon courtroom caper that doesn't want you to see, as we have the release of the final trailer for the upcoming new Looney Tunes film of Coyote vs. Acme. Now, after every product made by the Acme Corporation has backfired on Wile E. Coyote in the pursuit of the Roadrunner, Down and Out Bill's board attorney Kevin Avery, played by Will Forte, represents Coyote in a lawsuit against Acme. A growing friendship between Wiley and Kevin soon motivates their determination to win this court case, as it pits them against Buddy Crane, played by John Cena, the intimidating boss of Kevin's former law firm, who now represents Acme. Now, I really appreciate the sense of things that these characters of the Looney Tunes are seeing a return in many ways, from shorts and even to live full-length films now in recent memories, and they've finally gotten their time to shine once again. I'm still glad the studio of Ketchup Entertainment helped to save this, and The Day the Earth Blew Up, which was also a really great film that finally released earlier this year. And honestly, I still think this is a very entertaining entry overall. I hope this will have a big success and support this title when it becomes unrestricted from the vaults of Acme, but I'm sure we can see all about this when the film releases in the cinemas in just about under a month's time, from the 21st of August. The next trailer focuses some superhero elements, and the first of some TV series trailers this week is at the first time in due course that no matter the brightest day and the blackest night, that the sons of evil won't escape this duo's sight, and it'll be worth seeing if they have what it takes to solve the secret cosmic ordeal as we release the final trailer for the upcoming new DCU project of Lanterns. There's a series of fellow members of the Lanterns Corp, a group of heroes and intergalactic peacekeepers given extraordinary powers from powerful rings. This will of course follow two of the members of the experienced Lantern, Hal Jordan, played by Cal Chandler, and new recruit John Stewart, played by Aaron Pierre, as you're tasked to investigate a murder in a small town in Nebraska, which soon leads them to darker mysteries and reckonings. So it has been seen that as the trailers for this series has been released that they are improved people's opinions on the series. Initially, this first trailer underwhelmed people in the case there was next trailer is the last of the film focused ones for this week. In the case, this is probably a title release we probably are not really thinking of this early in its setting, and that is the area of the festive holiday season. Though with this heat wave, I yearn for some fucking cold. But it looks like we are getting another take on an overly done take on the famous story, with this new version being made by one that's quite the trilogy of crazy titles, the return of a beloved actor playing the famous figure of this story, as Ty West comes from his ex-trilogy to bring his new take on a Christmas classic as a release of the trailer for Ebenezer. Now this of course will be a new take on the Christmas Carol from Charles Dickens, and will tell the story of Ebenezer Scrooge, played by Johnny Depp, a grouchy and wealthy old man who will soon learn to change his ways when on Christmas Eve night he will be visited by free spirits of Christmas past, present and future that will show his life and learn to change his way overall. The combination of Depp and West is quite an interesting one, given that they were well respected in their different crafts. Will be interesting to see, and excited to see Depp's return to the big film franchise after years since being accused of some malicious offences that were proven in court to be mostly fabricated. And while we have seen this story done to death, I will give this one a look in some regards of things, but I'm sure we can see what will come about this when this new take release in the cinemas from the 13th of November. Our second last trailer for this week will be Return to the Universe that also connects to the big film of the week, and it looks like the world is elements and the one that had the power to control them all is seeing more stories and tales being told even further into the future from the new series of Avatar 7 Heavens. There's a series of follow-on to the events of The Legend of Korra, and will follow a new earthbender played Pavi, who discovers he's the next avatar and descendant of Korra. Now haunted by enemies both of human and spirit form, she and her long-lost twin must uncover their strange origins and save the Seven Havens, the central pillars of civilization risen from the world shattered by an apocalyptic event before it's too late, with the avatar seen as a destroyer rather than a savior. It really is appealing and appreciating that they're still making the efforts in evolving the narrative overall in the form of making new tales and legacies of the world across the generation, and giving some new takes on the world and a sense of mystery too. From what I can see from this, it all looks like very appealing. Now, it have to be a case of giving some time to watch the two series again before it has arrived, but I'm sure we can see it in due course, and hope this will be another success, with a series set to premiere on Paramount Plus from the 9th of October. The last of the trailers for this week will be taking us a fair bit into the future for this narrative, and will be a focus of the overall story that started many years ago, of how they would see the world from a few years ago, and from how the narrative and its follow-up ended. This could be the answer and the reason of the overall downfall, as we wrap up the trailers this week with the first official trailer for the upcoming limited series based on the popular sci-fi duology with Blade Runner 2099. Now set 50 years after the events of 2049, the series will take place in 2099 LA, a place in disarray following a replicant uprising where replicants are now the power brokers of the city and humans are treated as second-class citizens. Alwyn, played by Michelle Yeoh, a replicant Blade Runner, is nearing the end of her life and will soon reunite with her partner Korra, played by Hunter Schafer, a human pretending to be a replicant, to hunt down a gang of rogue replicants. It's an interesting approach with the franchise, as it seems to pop up every few years in concept from the original and its many re-releases in various cuts, to comics, video games, short character narratives, and then a sequel that was very well received but underperformed. But going off the release, that had a lot of potential in the area of memes since then. But I could see that there could be a very interesting entry, and I'm very intrigued in the overall building of the world. In most cases, I can also wonder if the last film will have some elements that tie into this upcoming uprising. But I'm still very excited to check this out, and it's not too long away from release either, as the series will be dropping from Amazon Prime from the 25th of November. With all that regards now, that's all the new trailers that we do have for this week.
Ain't no rules in the dog can't play basketball.
Now, initially I was going to split this into two separate stories this week, with the second focus on the big Comic-Con news, but there was a surprising lack of big stories bar one or two release dates and some small bits with Marvel, so I feel it would have been best to lump it all together with the serving of the hodgepodge of various cuisine and some that we would find from the array of options at some of these conventions, but we can sample the delicacies as we get into the focus of them all. So let's see what we have on offer for this week. So given the week it's been in, we might as well start with the focus of the Comic-Con news. In this case, we didn't have a lot to really delve into, as most small announcements from Marvel and one of the project release announcements, and we've had a few trailers from DC wise. But we'll start with Marvel, who was going to be a focus of a massive event on Saturday evening for the event, but mainly focus about the new clip for a brand new day, the audience seeing a new lineup of the Avengers Doomcast, as well as a special trailer for them there, an appearance by Deadpool himself possibly teasing an appearance in the follow-up team-up filming, and the importance of the upcoming re-release of Endgame in September. But it was not all stuff that we knew was coming, as there was two big announcements, and each I have my thoughts on. I will start with the case that things will be getting a lot more hot, extreme, and fast, as we time to rev up the flaming motorcycle and prepare for the spirit of vengeance to return, as he announced that we are getting an all-new film based on the popular character of Ghost Rider. And we know will be flaming vigilante, as he be unveiled that Project Hail Mary star Ryan Gosling will be portraying the character, in most cases in the form of Johnny Blaze. I say this as there's been like 4 iterations of the character across the comics, and will be helmed by Deadpool and Wolverine director Sean Levi in this case. Now, I see this as a solid announcement. It has been a film and character that has campaigned for years to portray, so I'm all for it. However, I hate to be this one that brings it up, but if I recall, there has been a Ghost Rider already established in the MCU for about a decade at this point, with Gabriel Luna portraying the version of Robbie Reyes during the events of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.'s 4th season. Now, I know to some they may know the ordeal that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.'s canon to the MCU is a little all over the place right now, but I think from a large majority, its canon it takes place around certain films and even alludes to other big projects. Like season 1 is all about the Avengers, For the Dark World, Winter Soldier, Age of Ultron, because Coulson basically helped unlock the system to get the helicarrier to aid in the Sokovia evacuation, Civil War, and even Infinity War, where they mentioned Thanos, that I feel it's canon. It's just the last 2 seasons that make it confusing. Plus, they also planned a TV series for Luna's take on the character back in 2019 that was confirmed canon, so I have no idea if this is still happening or if it was reworked into this film in particular. Also, some elements of Agent S.H.I.E.L.D. just got recently confirmed canon in the Daredevil Born Again series, so I don't really know. Now, it is a case, since I do hope and anything that we will see them both appear in some form, as I feel like every other character in the comics, they have their different variants, so maybe it can happen. And it feels they may be planning a build up to a Midnight Suns film or a series and making the next step in the focus of the supernatural or mutants that I've heard about for the next saga, but I guess we can see. Either way, I'm intrigued to see the approach of this, and we'll see the full picture when it releases in the summer of 2028, I believe, but we can see the date by then. The other big announcement of the event was one that was expected to be unveiled at some point, but I also expected them to confirm that Nova project that was real from a leaked listing a couple of days ago, as well as releasing a trailer for Vision Quest, but there's always D23 in about a couple of weeks time. We did have one other project announcement, and it has been a while since we have been to this place, but it looks like we're returning back to the land of Wakanda real soon, as it's announced that the 3rd film of Black Panther is happening. With Coogler back to directing, it will be shot on film and also have a confirmed release date now of December 15th, 2028. And in the case that to your right will be back as Shuri or the Black Panther. Now, this could be where it's all well and done, but it looks like we'll be given the approach of what they initially were not going to do, but they will be given the focus of recasting. In this case, it's not really a recasting of the original, but the legacy they left behind. As the event, they also confirmed that alien Romulus actor David Johnson will be the next person to take the mantle of the Black Panther and will betray the older version of T'Challa and Nakia's child, T'Challa II, who we saw at the end of Wakanda Forever, with the film focusing on his growth into becoming the symbol of the ancestors. Now, I think the casting choice is great and all, but there is a part of me that feels this is sort of an undermine the whole purpose of Shuri's arc in Wakanda Forever becoming the Black Panther after the sudden passing of T'Challa, and I hope they will have both the mantle and not have to give up the role to them that instantly, which I guess is just a lot of people online being mad about female superheroes in general because they are not providing enough of them to gawk at in that regards of things. But I do hope they will have the chance to with both of them and build a satisfying finale of a trilogy, but I guess we can see by its release in December 2028. And just to wrap up the stories I could find from the event, we have one other release day announcement that will be changing the rules of the game, because it never specified that a certain animal cannot play basketball. As was announced at the convention, the follow-up of the original Air Bud film has got a new release date. It'll be hitting the court in cinemas from the 22nd of January. Now this is quite a surprise reveal from last year's convention, as the series has had plenty of focus throughout the years since the original, but mainly a lot of spin-offs focus on the pups of Air Bud, and I think maybe they don't have as much of a focal connection. I'm sure there'll be some form of a story that will bring this good boy back to the sport and all other means, but I'm sure we can get an idea of it with the eventual release of the trailer and the release in the cinemas come January next year. Unlike the last of sort of release date focused stuff, while we can have the case of like watching ordeals about fighting gods and like another series coming out later this year, this will be more in the interactive form and having a bunch of people getting mad because the lead is not the familiar Ghost himself. But it was like last week that we finally got the release date for the upcoming new entry of the God of War series with Laufey, now set for release from the 16th of February next year. Now many are surprised by this reveal and release, as it was not only last month they unveiled the project with a solid 20 minutes of opening gameplay, but it's a case that this title has been developing for a fair few years now, according to the writer on the title and YouTuber Alana Pierce. So the likes of them being close to being set to drop makes sort of total sense. In all case of things, it has been 5 years since Ragnarok released in 2022, so I'm interested to give this a try, and for those that do not judge the title from the onset and not be close-minded of being a game of the same old large muscular dude as could be overdone. Now either way, I'm looking forward to trying this out and also hope this will also have a physical disc, but I guess we will see how this all plays out in due time by the title's release in February next year. On the basis of another project announcement, the next one was a surprise reveal to be happening, as there was a sense for a while there was one and done thing from the initial run, and reception this title got back then was dead and buried where it stood, but it looks like we were a bit too quick to judge on that, as early this week we got the surprise announcement that we are getting a sequel to the cult classic film of Jennifer's Body, with the film set to begin filming as early as this October. And most of the news with this is that possibly confirmed the original star of Megan Fox will be back for the follow-up, and her female co-lead of Amanda Seyfried may also be coming back for this film as well, though it has not been fully confirmed as of yet. Now the reason I say I was surprised with this follow-up was the original was well known back then as being sort of a commercial failure and got mixed reception when it initially came out, but since then it has garnered quite a bigger cult following, and the discussion that the films failed due to the really messy marketing for the movie that focused mainly on Fox's sex appeal than on the film's themes itself, but I'm sure if the case to get the go ahead of being a proper sequel, they will probably market this film better next time. Now at the moment we have no idea what we could possibly expect from this follow-up and any other aspects of this project in particular, but once I hear any new updates about this as well, I'm probably going to find a later episode too. The last of the project announcement is not really an announcement, but a little bit of a small casting update on a recently announced project, as there has been a little bit of a shake-up in terms of an initial locked-in casting. As announced on Wednesday this week that Jennifer Aniston set to drop out of starring in the upcoming series adaptation of Jeanette McCurry's memoir, I'm Glad My Mom Died, with the reason for this being due to some scheduling conflicts affecting the planned filming aspect of things. Now, in this case, she was the only known casting for this project and was set to portray McCurry's late mother, but now with her dropping out, it's unclear what the approach of this is for the series now. They have someone else in mind already for the role, and the case I will have to see if Aniston is still set to be an executive producer alongside showrunner, writer, and executive producer McCurdy herself. I'm sure we have some other projects and people in mind, and in most cases we still need to cast for Jeanette's role as well, but I guess we will have to find out as they either rework to fit her schedule or find a new replacement. But if I hear anything new about this in particular, I'll let you know in a later episode. And to wrap up all the stories this week is with the return of a focus of an item that gets brought up now and again when the opportunity arises to talk some pieces like this, and it's time to talk once more on some new sets and unveiled confirmation from early rumors and leaks from the popular brand of Lego. Now we have 3 sets in focus to discuss on this week that will be in the ordeal, and each has their own distinct genre and approach to the project. I will start with one that seems to be announced in perfect timing of a recently unveiled buildable pinball machine. This looks like we're back to the arcade for this week, and will go well with the .E sphere creation, as you've the next classic arcade machine built in the form of the original Donkey Kong set, which will have quite the build of an interactivity akin to the Pac-Man machine, with moving characters and actual avoidable hazards with the oil barrels and that you jump over in the game itself, and the concept of it is really cool. Now the set will be dropping on the 1st of August and will come in the price of around €170, which seems to be coming in for a much cheaper price than the first arcade machine of Pac-Man, which was like 200 and something. But either way, it will look really nice beside it. But then from going from the arcade machines to one to believe what is out there, we'll be getting a little more sci-fi, as while we have some other new sets that are mentioned, like the iconic 80s set of E.T. getting one around the same time, this will be more investigating the otherworldly ordeals that are out there. As after initially leaking, they unveiled we are getting a new set based on the classic 90s series of the X-Files, with this being an interesting diorama of a secret investigative facility below with some familiar faces, and then at the top of the focus of Mulder and Scully learn the truth of the extraterrestrial, of the grey alien and the massive UFO floating above it in focus at the top. And honestly, this looks very well in a cool diorama set itself, with this set also dropping from the 1st of August, but with a slightly higher price of about €200. Decent both those. The last one is, in particular, will be heading to the bottom of the sea for this one, as after initially happening a few waves back in the mid to late 2000s and the early 2010s, it looks like we're back to find out who lives in that pineapple under the sea. As after being rumored months back, we are finally unveiled last week that the massive new version of the Lego Spongebob set was revealed in the form of Conch Street. Now this will consist of the pineapple, Squidward's Tiki House, and Patrick's Rock, as well as those minifigs, plus Gary and Doodlebob, a jellyfishing area, and a boat car, and will be about time for this to make a return. Now this will be coming a little later on September 1st with a higher price of about $210, but I hope this will have some success and provide more affordable sets in particular for this theme and bring it back in the near future, but I guess we will see in due time. A lot of these do sound great, and I hope we'll see what else will come from this company, but only time will tell on that instance. But what do you make of these stories? Are you excited for Gosling to play Ghost Rider, and do you see Gabriel Luna come back as his iteration in it as well? Do you think you will still respect what will came before with the new Black Panther movie? Will you be checking out the Air Bud sequel? Will you be playing the new God of War when it releases next February? Are you excited for a possible Jennifer's Body sequel? Who do you see play the role now in the memoir adaptation of Jeanette's mother? And will you be getting any of these new Lego sets coming out later this year? Let me know what you think down below. Of all that regards now, that's all the news that we do have for this week. And now, in case with all of that, it ends episode 166 of Weird My Newsroom. Hope you're ramblings for probably over half an hour at this point. I have no idea. Anyways, I'm just going to fly through this conclusion because I'm getting very tired and I just want to just wrap up this story. So let's get a case reviews wise. So I actually got back to finally writing a bit, try and finish up the last review. I've got like an episode or two left to just write up a case. Like there's one or two long episodes I want to talk on, like just get a well deep insight and stuff. It's like the focus with my series ones is like I'll do, you know, the standard review stuff, and then I'll do like a focus where I'll give the first episode a big focus thing, and then like there's any other episodes I'd like them out, but I'll just do a small short summary on things that I get my quick thoughts on them when I can. Those will come along as well. Next will probably be Digital Circus, and I'll probably get a few films down the line as well. I can finally throw the Odyssey into that list as well. I saw it there a couple days ago. It was quite an experience, especially in IMAX, so I'll definitely have to talk about it. Don't know if I'll do a long or short video, but I'll see what it case of things with that. Then the case of some other variations as well as next box office stuff and other variations, genres, and links. So look forward to those. Then the case of gameplays. I'm going to upload a few more Tomodachi live streams. Maybe I'll do another one tomorrow while I'm sort of exporting some of this. I will probably do a case of getting back to some more gameplays of, like, you know, Mario Wonder, Star Wars, Cyberpunk, DK Bonanza, and as well as starting some other games like I've mentioned, Ventilate, and as well as some other variations of stuff of that regards of things. So there's going to be a couple of games I'm going to get onto, so look forward to those. And then long form stuff, I'm going to get around to doing Horror Most Bored, the AI Interest video I did promise someone, the rewatchathon, I'll try and grab that time lapse of the Pikachu build I did as well on stream, and then so like cut it down to maybe just focus on like the building of stuff. So that will probably come along in due time as well, so look forward to those. But to wrap it all now I'm going to end the episode there for now. So if you like what you see here and want to see more from me more frequently, then simply like, subscribe. So I upload new stuff every single week. I'm aiming for 750 to 1,000 subs, so any support is greatly appreciated. And I thank all those that have been joining in over the last couple of days. We're nearly approaching 550 subs, and it's actually been something that's moved in the first while in a long time. I think, you know, it's beneficial. A lot of good stuff has happened in the last couple of days, so at least that's a good thing. Let me know your thoughts on everything discussed this week from new releases, trailers, and news stories down below, and let me know your thoughts on everything discussed, because there's a lot of stuff from this week that we can talk about. As well as in case you want to get yourself 10% off Pure Crack, use my code Sam Harrison. That's all one word, all caps, and you can find the link in the description down below. But in all regards now, I'll leave it there for now because I want to go to bed. So as always, you will stay wonderful people. Have a great day every day, do many great things, and keeping you because no one else do what you do. I've been your host Sam, of course. And I'll see you all in the next episodes. Take care, keep being you, take care of yourself in this heat wave, and I'll see you later.